Okay, so this is the 10x10 large outdoor dog kennel. And as you can see, some things about it are like I couldn't put the entire roof up because there's like two pieces that I just couldn't figure out how to make them work. I even watched the video, I looked at the directions, I just couldn't figure it out. And mainly because they don't click in like they do right here. Like this is basically how you put it together. You don't really use any tools except towards the end when you're putting the door on, which I'm not entirely sure I put that on right. But directions, even though they're pretty self-explanatory, they're not real good, because I even had to take this one off, this pole right here, which is number 6. You know, if you get this dog kennel, this is like part number 6 right here. And you got to make sure that it's pointed in this direction, so because I had it pointed right here, you know, in the opposite direction. I don't know if that makes any sense, but basically that's why you got these 2 holes right here, is because the door is supposed to fit like that. And again, I don't know if I put these hinges on right. I think I did. But then you got this, the latch, which is not really a good latch. That's why I had to put this up right here, which I know that's not what you're supposed to use it for, but it's the only way I can keep the door from coming open. You know, I couldn't figure out anything else. Maybe get something to wrap around and, you know, like a rope, and then, you know, get a lock and do that or something. I don't know what you would want to do if you were. And one thing I know is that maybe if I had a second person helping me, they would have been able to help me to figure out how to make this work. I didn't really have anyone helping me. I pretty much put it together by myself. And it's the same thing with the roof. I would have been able to figure out how to make these 2 poles. Get over here. So this pole is number 9. Kind of got it confused with 6, but no, this is the number 9 pole. And as you can see, it does not have any holes in it or anything like the rest of it. Like, I think if the manufacturer had made the number 9 poles the same, so all you had to do was just latch them in, you know, like this. You just had to like latch them in, and I don't know what the technical term is for that, you know. And then you got these like zip ties. I don't know how that's gonna work. You know, they come with metal zip ties, and they also come with, stop that. See, that's the problem I'm having with this door, is that I'm trying to keep the other dogs out while I'm feeding the puppies, and they keep on wanting to get in there. So if that latch actually was doing its job, I don't think they'd be able to do that. Anyways, these zip ties, you get metal and plastic. And that's basically what their function is that they you know, keep this metal mesh from going all over the place. You just, you know, put it, you use the zip ties to do that. The plastic ones are a lot easier to use than the metal ones, you know, and it says in directions that you need 2 people for this metal mesh, and they're not joking. I did it by myself, but I think it would have come out a lot nicer if I had had a second person. It doesn't look half bad, but again, if I had another person helping me, I probably would have been able to figure out how to put the 2 9 poles that I have that I didn't use. You know, I think I would have been able to figure that out if I'd had, you know, a second person to help me. And then here's something else that kind of bothers me is the tarp. As you can see, it does not fit real well. I mean, okay, see, not a real good fit. So I don't know if even putting those 2 metal poles, you know, using those would have worked. Maybe it would have made it even more complicated to get the tarp on. Because even on this side, you know, and I'm hoping that the wind doesn't do anything horrible, you know, but I don't know. This little kennel just has to last until we can rehome these little puppies in here. We got like 10 of them. Yeah, some of them are hiding. But that's my big thing about this, was that it wasn't too complicated to put together. I like the fact that you can clip most of this together. I thought that was pretty, you know, it doesn't require too many tools that you'd have to use. But what stumped me was the door. It doesn't look like it's, either the door needs to be bigger where it fits the latch, or the latch needs to be bigger. I don't know which one, honestly. But the latch isn't real good. And directions don't necessarily tell you how you're supposed to do it. I watched the video, and that kind of showed me how to do it. But I don't really get if I put the latch on wrong, or if I just need a bigger size of a latch. Or maybe I need a bigger door. I don't know. And the mesh, they're not joking when they say you should have 2 people. You know, you really do need that. I even think with the tarp, because I had to put that on by myself. But if I'd had a second person, it might have, you know, they might have been able to help me better with it. And that those number 9 poles that don't have the holes in them, I think that truly what the manufacturer should do with that is, you know, make it either easier, you know, make it so that it latches in like the rest of this. But other than that, it seems like it's a pretty good kennel. I'm not real impressed with the tarp, and I'm not real impressed with the latch. I think that either needs to be better, you know, maybe bigger, or the door needs to be bigger. Or I don't really know what the technical way of saying it. I just think that it needs to be different so that it fits better. We also got some bowls. So that's like right there. I don't know why I can't. Yeah. And we got different bowls. There was a 2-pack that cost $19. And then there was a 1-pack that cost $15, and we got 2 of those because we wanted to try them out to see if they were the same, and they basically are. I would say that the best price would be the one that was the 2-pack, which is $19. So I think that would be the best one to get. I think that one was $19. It might be the other way around. Both of them were pretty expensive, but I was trying to look into getting them some big dog dishes, and they're not as big as I was hoping they would be, but they seem to work. So I don't think there's anything else. But if I was to give this, like, you know, between a 1 or a 5, 1 being the worst and 5 being the best, I'd have to say 3.5 on this kennel. It was easy enough to put together, except when you got to the door. The mesh was a little hard, but I think it would have been easier if I had a second person. And the roof, where you like have like, you know, the 2 9-pieces that one goes on one side and the other goes on the other side, I couldn't figure out how to do that. But if they had made it easier, then I think that it would be maybe a 4. Possibly a 5 if they can figure out how to fix the door where it works better. Well, no, this was a long review, and I'm really sorry about that. And I probably missed a couple of things. Like, it does come with these little spike things that you put into the ground. I don't know what you call those. Anchors, I think is what they're called. I didn't use many of them. I used some of them, but the ground's kind of hard, so. And I don't know how this is going to hold up in, you know, when the weather gets bad, like during the winter time or during windstorms. So, and with our little puppies, I've decided we're going to bring them in before it gets real late, so they won't have to stay out here in this kennel for, but I want them to get used to it. So, let's see. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you for watching this, and hope you have a great day.